Hello, my name is Ryan Spencer, and for our group project, we're going to be learning how we can cover Myanmar in mosquito nets in order to protect the residents of Myanmar from um, drug-resistant parasites of malaria. Now, the reason why Myanmar is such of importance is the fact that it has this drug-resistant strain of of parasites that cause malaria, and this could have a global impact if it's not contained in the country and region that it's in currently. The biggest fear is that it could reach Africa, and Africa currently is ill-equipped to combat such a new strain of parasites. So we hope that through our project, we'll be protecting the people of Myanmar and in Southeast Asia, but at the same time, we're also protecting the world globally because of the impacts that would come about if this strain of parasites left the Southeast Asia region. So I just want to share my screen, and we'll talk a little bit more about Burma and malaria. So Burma is a country located in Southeast Asia. Here's some pictures of some of the tribal people with their long necks in Burma. Here's a picture of the Burmese flag. Picture of a valley of temples in Burma, quite beautiful. And here's some refugee camps. Burma is definitely not without its political turmoils and troubles in the country with civil wars currently. Burma used to be ruled by the British Empire, but gained independence in the 40s. Was going well until military rule in about the 1970s, and then just recently was declared independence within the last 2 or 3 years and become a democracy. So it just recently opened up, but there are definitely some civil wars and contests between ethnic groups along its border regions. And this is where it's really causing the problem, where it's displacing people, and malaria is getting hold as the conditions of the living conditions of the refugees are not up to standard for other countries, and giving hold to the mosquito and this malaria parasite that is resistant to the drugs that we have currently to combat malaria. So what is malaria and how does it work? We all know that malaria is a parasite. It infects humans and targets the liver. Transmission of malaria is by mosquito bite, by a female pregnant mosquito. The parasite enters the bloodstream through mosquito bite. The parasite enters the liver, affects and modifies the liver cells that then enter the rest of the body and target red blood cells. And then those red blood cells are what's going to affect the rest of the body. So symptoms of malaria: fever, blood loss, coma, and death. So it's definitely a deadly thing, as we all know, and it's something that needs to be stopped. The most commonly affected people with malaria are pregnant women, children under the age of 5. So this is definitely a start in the issue that we have. So here we can see a map of Burma. And as I said, most of the areas that we're concerned with are these border areas here in Thailand. That's where we're going to be combating doing our project, is on the border communities of the refugees. And it seems that malaria has really gotten hold there for some reasons. Here's a map of the distribution of the drug-resistant strain of malaria in Southeast Asia. So you can see it's going right along the border here, mainly into Burma. We see some other pockets in other parts of the region. So malaria is a problem in Burma for two reasons. First, as I've said many times already, that there exists a form of malaria that is resistant to powerful treatment. The drug that is the forefront, prevention for people who have malaria is artemisinin, and it's been proven that there's been types of strain in Burma that is not effective in the treatment of malaria patients. Second, there's no surveillance system that's adequate in Burma to monitor the spread. The Burmese government itself, sort of ministers have claimed when working with other countries in the region that it doesn't have the means to access certain areas. So the Burmese government is definitely in need of help from our project as we set out to educate the people and distribute bed nets and other nets that are modified for windows and doors and gaps in the homes of the Burmese people. So we're going to make special bed nets that are coated in insecticides. These are called long-lasting insecticide treated nets, or LLIN. We're going to introduce new nets that are custom made for the doors and windows of homes. Currently, bed nets for the bed cost are $3 to $5 per net. These nets will typically last 3 to 5 years per the CDC. Estimated costs are going to be about the same for new windows and doors, the 3 to 5, as a bed net is far larger. The circumference around a bed is far larger than the area that covers a door or window. So per the Against Malaria Foundation, these nets have a life of 3 to 4 years. All right, that concludes my proportion of the presentation. Thank you.